1. Video 71, Sleep Paralysis, and the playlist Insanity, the 9th video in the playlist, released on October 15, 2023. The original notes are that Nia is tied to the bed here, and she has a blanket, so it's likely just standard procedure to have patients tied to the bed in this hospital. Nia has a roommate. The doctor here follows a pattern of threats or hallucinations, with Sears being very tall when compared to Nia. There's interpretations that this likely is Nia's experience with sleep paralysis. This hallucination likely is fueled by and will contribute to Nia's fear of the hospital and the mistreatment in it. Only thing to add is that the music in the background is Never Again 2 from Silent Hill. Video 72, Mom, not in playlist, the 15th video not in playlist, released on November 13, 2023. Original notes are that the background seems to be a photograph. When the video starts, we'll hear a click and a beat in sound, suggesting that this is a recording. When the figure stops twitching, what appears to be a knife or screwdriver is seen in the figure's neck, and a face appears. He is holding her phone again, suggesting that this is a hallucination. Expression also seems to slightly have the dilated pupils, but is showing emotion, unlike the other cases. There's interpretations that this tells us quite a bit about what could have happened to Nia's past. The title and the video's end seems to suggest that this is a hallucination of Nia's mother. We see once it stops twitching, a knife or screwdriver seen in its neck. Perhaps this means that Nia actually killed her own mother. This would actually explain multiple things, such as why Nia was in the hospital, and whose death was emphasized in You Can't Escape, and I Miss You. This, however, leaves us with another question. Is the dilated pupil in the end an indication of her mother's death is caused by brainwashing, or if she's experiencing this hallucination during a period she's being controlled? Someone proposed that the way Nia's mother moves is actually Morse code. I checked and messed with putting spaces, and the best I got was Ran. I also found Rate and Ret. Ret is a rare name that means someone who gives advice or redeemer, and especially the latter meaning is very interesting with all the imagery we see. Ultimately, it makes sense for her mother to be saying her name. Video 73, Mom's Cat, in the playlist Nightmare, 25th video in the playlist, now the 23rd, released on November 28, 2023. Original notes are that we don't see Nia's mother's face, and is obstructed by a strange box and hair. When Nia appears, she appears in ghostly form, likely meaning that her presence here was not detected. The red dot returns yet again. The knife seen here is not the one seen in Mom. If it is, then it would require that the handle be stabbed into her neck. The count confirms that this is symbolic. There's interpretations that this could be about Nia witnessing her mother engaging in sexual activities, perhaps misunderstanding it as pain, or about witnessing her mother actively harming herself. The return of the red dot seems to imply that this is related to whatever happened to Nia, almost resembling her visible eye in the later parts of the video. Perhaps the dot represents a memory, like this one, possibly also explaining why we see blood in the lower part in several videos. Perhaps this could also mean that punishment too could have been literal to a degree. I have nothing to add. Video 74, Don't Blink, in the playlist Childhood, 6th video in the playlist, released on February 4th, 2024. Original notes that the time shown, the clock seemed to be around 11:30. The room is the exact same from Suffocation. There are 3 figures here, much like 2 places that flash by and the old woman in Subway 2. Two interpretations considering that this is in Childhood. It likely precedes Nightmare. Perhaps this is where Nia began moving on her own. This would explain why there's just a mattress or sleeping bag. 3 figures seemingly mirror the same 3 figures in Subway 2, possibly representing the same things. Interestingly, the perspective we have when we see the 2 figures around Nia is the same place as the one in the corner, and Nia's perspective also remains fixed on that figure, almost as if the 2 figures on the side do not represent something that concerns her, but the 3rd figure does. This could possibly represent Nia trying to find solace in her parents about the truth of hood as she transitions to adulthood. The music's Grip of Madness from the PS1 port of Doom. I have nothing of substance to add. Video 75, Muta, on the playlist Nightmare, 6th video, it's the 23rd. Released on April 15, 2024. Original notes that it seems that Nia's job is revealed. She works at Hot Topic! Among the boots that are shown are that of Shadow. When Nia looks outside the window and her reflection is shown, it resembles how we sometimes see her with darkened and empty eyes. The book Nia is reading has some crosses and the sun on the cover. Its doll mask is actually confirmed to be a mask. When the Shadow Men appear, they are in groups of 5, 7, and then 10. The Shadow people move in a very zombie-like way. In fact, they resemble the wriggling beings and they're coming. The screen turns blue again after Nia falls in the lake, which is the same as the one underwater. Original interpretations is very clearly a primary flashback. Not only is the video Nightmare, the main sequence starts after Nia looks out the window, after which the change in art style occurs. Nia slapping her mother confirms what we already knew, that she was a bad mother. Interestingly, Nia tries to open Dolly's mask but looks shocked before closing it again, which means that Dolly suffered from literal or mental mutilation. Her blooded feet likely represent something stopping Dolly from escaping Shadow's influence. Shadow people are likely victims of Shadow, possibly mind control, noting their zombie-like movement. Father's revealed to be dead. Perhaps the euphemism is used for Dolly's sake, or maybe a symbolic comeback to the name of the channel, I Can't Sleep. Those words directly reveal that this is likely what got me in the hospital, but this muddies up my timeline, unless quote. The games and albums we see put in this video early is 2001, with the presence of the namesake album Mutar by Rammstein. What's really interesting is that there are shirts with Celtic crosses with spikes, like we see in Punishment 2 in the wide shot of the store. Also, when Nia's in the store, she's not wearing the robe with a cowl, but when she approaches her mother and sister, she is. The songs that play are Mutation from Doom PS1 port and Nowhere 2 from Silent Hill. Also, funny story about this video. When it came out, some guys on the ICS Discord server, you might know him, A Curse of M, it's a channel he abandoned here on YouTube, I think. Anyways, right when everyone else was talking about the really uncomfortable scene, I think someone said it felt legal to look at. M was going around saying, that there child crotch is pretty mighty undetailed. Sent a cat gif looking disgusted for obvious reasons and crashed out. His acting that was accusing him of being a bred. Yeah, those servers are full of weirdos. Never asked what happened to the art channel on April 17th. They will hide who was 15 and who was 18. Anyway, video 76, Way Back Home Part 7, and the playlist of the same name, except the video in the playlist released on June 20, 2024. Original notes are that the path led to the hospital, possibly meaning that the patients were conditioned to return after hearing the bell, or further confirming that the cult used the hospital in some way. The scroll symbols become something significant. It definitely represents something that someone opposes, possibly either the hospital or the cult. Something that also becomes significant is the image of a horn, which we see begin to fade in on the later parts of the video. We see the image of 2 crosses being separated from the rest, though we interestingly only see 9 crosses of the other group. We see 10 eyes overall, 11 of them including the red one. There are also 12 swirls, 3 of them covered with scratch marks. We see 15 scratch marks, we see 6 horns, 8 if we include Nia's, and we see 10 cells, 2 of them with broken bars. The one large swirl has 8 spikes and has 2 hand marks next to it. The 2 crosses that are separate are next to an image of the hooded figure, much like what we see in I Miss You, and they also have 12 spikes like in Punishment 2. The lines that are seen twice are in groups of 31 and 29 respectively. To the sides, in the hell portion, we see 2 bodies, one appearing to be held by its arms without a head and missing a leg, and one held by a leg while missing the other. Which interpretation is that we again see a distinction between 2 of an object compared to other groups, and it's especially interesting, and especially keeping them next to a larger object, like the largest swirl and the hooded figure. This appears to be giving meaning to the swirl, which changes the meaning of some videos, like Hole. This will require further analysis. I'm not sure what meaning the horns hold, or why the hell segments left her unharmed. So you know how in Don't Get Your Hopes Up the thumbnails change per video? This video is when the thumbnails for Way Back Home start changing. Apparently the horns seen are from a Patreon post titled Pain. Also in the hell segments, to one of the sides of the eye we see what look like the faces that appear in Subway 2. As for the main course of this video, the bloody steps are Morse codes that translate to this: I've seen horrors that you've seen, but you've no right to call me a monster. Some have a right to hate me, but you have no right to judge me. You have a right to hate me, but you have no right to judge me. It's impossible for words to describe what horror means as horror is a face, and you must make a friend of her too. Horror and terror are friends. If not, they are an enemy to befriend. This is actually a reference to a speech that is slightly different from the one that is present in the movie Apocalypse Now. It's a monologue about the human ability to do unimaginable evil for what they believe in as long as they become friends of terror. No point in going in every minute difference or every nuance of the original speech. The point is that it's the same. Footsteps in Nia follows are the view of a madman, why he does what he does. Fitting to the monologue, the song that plays is Breath of Horror from the Doom PS1 port. Video 77, Someone's Watching. Plays Nightmare, 27th video in playlist, now the 24th, released on July 15, 2024. Original notes are that for some reason the first shot has sound. Behind a mannequin is an actual recording of an eye, as evident by the way it moves and twitches. There's blood splatter on the mannequin and under it. There's interpretation that it looks like it's a reflection of Nia's past as having little privacy, and seeing the blood trailing between the mannequin's legs seems to be a reference to Mom's cat. So I think that's supposed to reflect a lingering feeling of a lack of privacy in Nia's life due to her mother watching her for some reason. It really does imply that the really obvious moving eye is a camera. Also, the eye is the same eye that's not a button on Dolly's mask. Video 78, morning. The Nightmare Police was updated when the video was released, but the video is not in it. 16th video not on the playlist, released on August 19th, 2024. Original notes is that we again see Nia sleeping with a doll in her arms, like we've seen inside. Nia's phone has the Celtic cross, which we see in Subway 2, but there's a rectangle that is not there in Subway 2. A mouse passes by. I have never seen a phone glow red when the alarm goes off. As someone's pointed out, the sounds from the alarm sounds like the first two notes of Shut Your Mouth by Pain. There's interpretations that this doesn't seem to tell us much lore-wise, unless we consider the fact that the presence of a mouse just seems to imply that Nia is sleeping on the floor, much like we see in Don't Blink. This one would imply that Nia had the doll since at least when she moved out. His name is Phil. We love Phil. Phil is the greatest character in ICS. Phil is the hero. Phil single-handedly destroyed Shadow in a sword fight to the death. Video 79, Labyrinth, the post-childhood 7th video in the playlist, released on October 21st, 2024. Originals are Nia, even though she could have easily walked back to climb over the rocks, cried when she couldn't find a way out, which clearly shows that this is symbolic. She keeps going back to the school, likely to be someone's death she is unable to properly deal with. The boots are very similar to those of the Hood figure. In fact, we take someone take a step toward Nia with the left foot, which we see happens in Crimson Snow. The left foot takes a step first. Looking closely, the person who encourages Nia has a toe collar. The O in Don't looks like an I, which is crossed out in one frame. The two O's in Look are an infinity symbol, and W and A are connected to each other. When Nia walks into the labyrinth, she's wearing the dress that she wears in the other childhood videos, but when she gets out, she's wearing the robe. There's interpretations that what I think this represents is that someone close to Nia died, something she couldn't recover from. So she went over it again and again, unable to escape, and so she spent her entire childhood like this, stuck inside her mind and unable to escape, until whoever this person, likely someone she looked up to, decided to encourage her. But once she finally escaped, it was too late. They had died. What's more, considering this other person is also wearing the cult's outfit, it's possible that this person may have been crucified. So this labyrinth looks like one of those used for meditation, which makes sense if she's dealing with grief. She's trying to focus, but she keeps going back to the death. Video 80, Scarecrow, non-police, 17th video non-police, released on October 31st, 2024. Which knows that there's a loading screen for some reason. Jump scare part shows Nia's head being torn off. Which interpretations that doesn't seem to be a lore-relevant video. It's probably just a Halloween video. I have nothing to add for this, and with that, that's the end of this Yap Fest.